Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Like every decision you make, what you wear, what you say, even what you dream of, is shaped by the expectations of others. Here's the harsh truth. Most people spend their lives trapped in a cycle of seeking approval, bending to the weight of social pressure, and sacrificing their own happiness for the sake of fitting in. But what if I told you that the secret to confidence and emotional freedom isn't found in pleasing others? It's found in letting go. Yes, letting go of the need for validation, the fear of judgment, and the constant chase for applause. It might sound counterintuitive, but living for others is the fastest way to lose yourself. Think about it. How often do you filter your decisions through the lens of what will they think, instead of what do I truly want? The result? A life that feels hollow, disconnected, and exhausting. But here's the good news. You don't have to live this way. There's a way to break free, to reclaim your identity, and to start living a life that's aligned with your values. And the best part? It's simpler than you think. In this video, we're diving into the mindset shifts and practical strategies that will help you stop living for others and start living for yourself. You'll learn how to build unshakable confidence, filter out the noise of criticism and applause, and embrace the emotional freedom that comes from living authentically. So, are you ready to take back control of your life? Let's get started. Emotional detachment isn't about shutting people out or pretending you don't care. It's about reclaiming your freedom. Think about it. How often do you find yourself bending over backward to meet someone else's expectations, just to feel validated? Emotional detachment is the art of letting go of the need for constant approval, freeing yourself from the invisible chains of validation that others hold over you. It's not about being indifferent. It's about choosing whose opinions truly matter and aligning your identity with your own values, not someone else's fleeting preferences. Here's the thing. Worrying about what others think isn't a sign of insecurity. It's a reflection of how deeply tied your sense of self is to external feedback. When your identity is built on applause or criticism, you're giving away control over your happiness. For example, imagine someone complimenting your work, and suddenly you feel on top of the world. But what happens when the applause stops? Emotional detachment teaches you to anchor your confidence in your own principles, not in the fleeting highs of external validation. The beauty of emotional detachment lies in its transformative power. Picture this: someone criticizes your choices, and instead of spiraling into self-doubt, you pause, reflect, and realize their opinion doesn't align with your values. That's the shift we're aiming for. A life where you filter out unnecessary noise and focus on what truly matters. And trust me, once you master this, you'll see how it sets the stage for aligning your actions with your core values, which is exactly where we're headed next. Living according to your values is like finally stepping into a pair of shoes that actually fit. It's liberating, yet so many people spend their lives trying to squeeze into someone else's expectations. Here's the truth. When your actions and decisions align with your personal values, you stop chasing external validation and start building a life that feels authentic. Imagine saying no to something that doesn't sit right with you, not because it's easy, but because it honors your principles. That's the kind of freedom that comes with a mindset shift. But let's be real, this isn't always simple. It requires unlearning the habit of prioritizing other people's preferences over your own. Think about it. How often do you make decisions based on what others expect rather than what you truly want? Maybe you've taken a job that looks impressive on paper, but feels empty inside. Or maybe you've stayed in a relationship because it's what people expect. The key to breaking free is asking yourself one powerful question. Does this align with my values? If the answer is no, it's time to reevaluate. When you start living in alignment with your values, something magical happens. You begin to feel a sense of clarity and purpose that no amount of applause or external praise can replace. Sure, it might mean making sacrifices, like turning down opportunities that don't resonate with your principles, but the trade-off is worth it. You're no longer living for others. You're living for yourself. And once you embrace this mindset, you'll see why ignoring the applause is the next step in finding true emotional freedom. Applause feels good, doesn't it? It's like a quick hit of validation that makes you feel seen and appreciated. But here's the catch. Applause doesn't always mean you're on the right path. Sometimes it's just a reflection of what others want from you, not what aligns with your purpose. Imagine being praised for a decision that feels completely out of sync with your values. Does that applause still hold the same weight? Learning to ignore the applause is about filtering out the noise and staying true to what matters most to you. Here's a hard truth. People's preferences are often more about their emotions than your purpose. Someone might cheer you on for doing something that benefits them, not because it's right for you. For example, you might receive endless praise for overworking yourself at a job. But deep down, you know it's draining your energy and pulling you away from your personal goals. Ignoring the applause means recognizing that external validation is fleeting, and it's okay to step back and say, "This isn't for me." The real power lies in choosing actions that align with your values, even when they don't come with applause. Think about this. Have you ever turned down an opportunity that everyone else thought was amazing, simply because it didn't feel right? That's what it means to prioritize your principles over praise. And once you master this, you'll be ready to tackle the flip side of the coin. Criticism. Because if applause doesn't define you, neither should the opinions of those who disapprove. Criticism can feel like a dagger to the heart, but here's the thing, it's rarely about you. Most of the time, criticism reveals more about the person giving it than the one receiving it. Think about it. When someone criticizes your choices, it's often rooted in their own discomfort, insecurities, or unmet expectations. Instead of letting it shake your confidence, ask yourself, why does this bother them so much? This simple question shifts the focus from taking the criticism personally to understanding its true source. Now, that doesn't mean all criticism is useless. Some of it can be constructive, but only if it aligns with your values. For example, if someone criticizes your decision to prioritize your mental health over a demanding job, pause and reflect. Does their opinion contradict your principles of self-care and balance? If it does, let it go. Criticism is only worth considering when it helps you grow without compromising your authenticity. Otherwise, it's just noise. The key to reframing criticism is learning to filter it through your values. Picture this. Someone tells you that your passion project is a waste of time. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, you remind yourself why you started it in the first place. Does their opinion change your purpose? Probably not. By reframing criticism, you take back control of your narrative and prepare yourself for the inevitable truth. Judgment is unavoidable, no matter what you do. No matter how hard you try, you'll never escape judgment. It's a universal truth. People will always have opinions about your life, your choices, and even your values. But here's the kicker. Most of those judgments have nothing to do with you. They're projections of other people's fears, insecurities, and beliefs. The sooner you accept this, the freer you'll feel. Imagine living your life without constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering who's whispering about you. That's the kind of emotional freedom we're aiming for. When you create something meaningful, whether it's content, a career path, or even a lifestyle, you're bound to attract both applause and criticism. In the early days of content creation, for example, many people face relentless judgment. Why are you doing this? Who do you think you are? It's exhausting, but here's the lesson. Judgment is inevitable, so why not live in a way that makes you happy? The more you focus on your own purpose, the less weight those opinions will carry. The real magic happens when you stop asking for permission to live your life. Think about it. How much of your happiness is tied to avoiding judgment? What if instead, you embraced it as a sign that you're living authentically? Yes, people will judge you, but their opinions are just background noise. What matters is whether your actions align with your values. And when you start choosing your values intentionally, you'll discover a whole new level of clarity and confidence. Values aren't something you inherit, they're something you choose. Sure, you might have grown up with certain beliefs or expectations, but as an adult, it's your responsibility to decide what truly matters to you. Think of values as the compass that guides your decisions. Without them, you're just drifting, letting other people's preferences dictate your path. Choosing your values intentionally means stepping back, reflecting, and asking yourself, what do I stand for? It's not always easy, but it's the foundation of a purposeful life. One of the biggest challenges is separating your values from the expectations of others. For example, someone might criticize you for working long hours, claiming you're too intense. But maybe hard work and ambition align with your principles, and that's okay. Their preferences don't have to become your reality. By consciously choosing your values, you gain the power to filter out opinions that don't serve you. It's not about being stubborn, it's about staying true to what feels right for you. When you use your values as a filter, life becomes simpler. Decisions that once felt overwhelming suddenly become clear. Should you take that job offer? Should you end that relationship? The answers lie in whether those choices align with your principles. And here's the beauty of it. When you live according to your values, you stop seeking external validation. You realize that your worth isn't tied to applause or criticism, it's rooted in the authenticity of your choices. And that's exactly why your values should guide every decision you make. Your values are like a built-in filter for life. They help you decide what's worth your time, energy, and attention. When faced with a decision, big or small, ask yourself, does this align with my values? This simple question can save you from countless moments of regret. For example, if authenticity is one of your core values, you might turn down a project that feels fake, even if it promises recognition. Living this way isn't always easy, but it's how you stay true to yourself. The beauty of using your values as a filter is that it frees you from the constant tug-of-war between criticism and validation. Imagine someone criticizing your decision to spend more time on a passion project instead of pursuing a safe career path. If your values include creativity and self-expression, their opinion becomes irrelevant. You're no longer making choices to avoid criticism or chase applause, you're making them because they align with who you are. That's the kind of clarity most people spend their lives searching for. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're creating something, a video, a piece of art, or even a business idea. Instead of asking, will people like this? Ask, does this reflect my values? This shift in perspective changes everything. It's no longer about pleasing others. It's about honoring your principles. And when you live this way, you'll find that the weight of external opinions starts to fade. But to truly embrace this mindset, you need to understand the difference between values and fleeting emotions, which is where we're headed next. Feelings are fleeting, but values are steadfast. It's easy to confuse the two because emotions can feel so powerful in the moment. But here's the truth. Feelings are like waves. They rise, crash, and fade. Values, on the other hand, are the solid ground beneath those waves. Living by your values means making decisions based on principles, not on how you feel in a particular moment. For example, you might feel like quitting when things get tough, but if resilience is one of your values, you'll push through because it aligns with who you are. This distinction is crucial because feelings can lead you astray. Think about it. How many times have you made a decision based on temporary emotions only to regret it later? Maybe you lashed out during an argument or gave up on a goal because it felt overwhelming at the time. When you let values guide you instead, you create a sense of stability. For instance, if kindness is one of your values, you'll choose to respond with patience, even when frustration tempts you to do otherwise. Living by your values doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means not letting them take the wheel. Feelings can inform your decisions, but they shouldn't dictate them. Ask yourself, is this choice aligned with my values, or am I just reacting to how I feel right now? This question can be a game changer. And when you start living this way, you'll notice something incredible. The more you align with your values, the more authentic and fulfilling your life becomes. Which brings us to the ultimate reward. Living by your values is the key to lasting happiness. Living according to your values is like unlocking a secret to life that most people never discover. One of the biggest benefits is the freedom from constantly chasing approval. When your decisions are rooted in your principles, you stop needing applause or external validation to feel worthy. Imagine the peace of knowing that your choices reflect your authenticity, not someone else's fleeting opinions. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real, and that's where true confidence begins to grow. Another incredible benefit is how criticism loses its sting. When you're secure in your values, you see criticism for what it really is, just someone else's perspective. Instead of letting it shake your self-esteem, you can evaluate whether it aligns with your principles. If it doesn't, you let it go. For example, if someone calls you too ambitious, but ambition is a core value of yours, their words become irrelevant. This mindset not only builds resilience, but also helps you embrace authenticity, even when it's not easy. Perhaps the most rewarding benefit is the simplicity and clarity it brings to your life. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become straightforward when you use your values as a guide. You no longer feel torn between what others expect and what you truly want. And while living authentically might involve sacrifices like walking a harder path or facing judgment, the payoff is undeniable. A life that feels meaningful and aligned. So, what's stopping you from taking this step? Let's explore how you can put all of this into action.